Hi everyone, welcome to Doc Hill's study where I help you get ready for your National 5 biology assessments. In this video we'll be walking through questions from an official SQA paper. The paper and the marking guide are both produced by the Scottish Qualifications Authority, the SQA, and all rights to that material belong to them. I'm using these resources strictly for educational purposes here on this non-commercial channel to support students like you in preparing for your exams. I'll be using the SQA's marking guide to highlight what answers are accepted, but keep in mind it usually only shows some of the correct answers and doesn't explain the reasoning behind them. That's where I come in. For each question, I'll walk you through the thinking process, explain what the question is really asking, and point out some of the common pitfalls to avoid. If anything doesn't make sense to you, or you want to ask about a specific point, feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you find this helpful, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future walkthroughs. Let's get started. We're looking at question 11. So the gas exchange surfaces in fish are called gills, right? Gills absorb oxygen from the water. Now, we probably haven't studied gills to any great extent in National 5. They've been mentioned, of course, but not in any great detail. So this is fairly unfamiliar topic to us, having studied National 5. But anyway, suggest two features of gills that increase the efficiency of absorption. Well, we know it's an absorptive surface. We've learned in National 5 that absorptive surfaces have a lot of features that they must have. And the first one is they need a large surface area. Okay, we know that. And an absorptive surface also needs thin walls or thin membranes between the substance you're absorbing. So thin membranes between water and blood might work. Thin membranes between water and blood. What else do they need? Well, you need a blood supply. A blood supply is required, so we don't need to put this in because we've already got to, but we'll just pop in everything else we can think of. Blood supply just for the moment, but don't put, once you've decided what you're going to go for, make sure you cross out anything you don't want. Go for your best two. Never put 3 in. Always cross one out if you only are asked for 2, because pick the best 2. One of them might be wrong, okay? The thin membranes, thin walls are mentioned in the marking instructions. I'm not sure that walls is a term I would use particularly, because walls tends to suggest cell walls, which animal cells don't have. Thin membranes, they are cell membranes that separate the water from the blood, so that cannot be wrong. Blood supply, a good blood supply or an extensive blood supply, extensive. Okay, you pick one of those 3 and I have only 2 of them. Okay, make sure you cross one out. Cross out the one you're not sure of if you do write 3 in as an idea. An investigation into the effect of water temperature and the breathing rate of fish was carried out. Oh, excellent. We've got a table. The results are shown in the table. Here we go. Water temperature 4 degrees. Ding, 40. Breathing rate 4 breaths per minute. Water temperature 10 degrees, 26 breaths per minute. 14 degrees, 56 breaths per minute. 20 degrees, 79 breaths per minute. 26 degrees, 100 breaths per minute. Okay. Use these results to draw a conclusion for the investigation. Now, you might know a little bit about this, but you don't have to figure this out exactly what's going on in this experiment. What is going on is as water temperature increases, it holds less oxygen, so the fish have to breathe faster to get to extract more oxygen. You don't need to know any of that. That's irrelevant to this. All you're going to do is you're going to take your independent variable, which is the water temperature, and you are going to relate that. You're going to say what happens to the dependent variable, which is the other thing that was measured, the average breathing rate, in this. And basically, your stock phrase here is, as the independent variable does something, so the dependent variable responds by increasing or decreasing. Okay, so you're just basically saying, as the one thing increases or decreases, start with your independent variable. So as water temperature what's it doing? Increases. The average breathing rate and what does it do? It increases. Direct relationship, okay? But you can't just write direct relationship. You've got to say what the relationship is using your independent variable, what it does, dependent variable, what it does in relation to what the independent variable is doing. That gets you the marks, okay? And you must write out the full variable as in what's written in the heading of the table. So the variable here, the independent variable, is called water temperature. The independent variable is called average, the dependent variable is called average breathing rate. Okay, so you've got to write them all out. Take that from there, take this from there. Okay? Good. Nice and easy, nice and quick. I think that's the end of question 11. Excellent. Thanks for watching this walkthrough from Doc Hill Study. I hope it helped you feel more confident about tackling these kinds of questions. Remember, the answers I've used are based on the SQA marking guide, but it's always important to understand the reasoning behind them, not just memorize the words. That's why I focus on the process, not just the final answer. If you've got any questions, or if something didn't quite click, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. If you found this helpful, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified when the next walkthrough goes up. Good luck with your revision, and I'll see you in the next one.